Okay, let's unlock the potential of AI and marketing that we've been doing all day. Okay, join our expert panel because they're going to explore the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities in our session titled Marketing Excellence Unplugged in the AI Era. So please warmly welcome our stellar panel, MVS Murthy once again, ladies and gentlemen, Chief Marketing Officer, Federal Bank India, Arpan Biswas, Chief Marketing Officer, Agio, Kosal Maladi, Vice President, Madison Loop, Dr. Kushal Sanghvi, Mentor, Niti Aayog, and our moderator for the panel, Vivek Bhargav, Co-founder, Profit Wheel Inc. Can we have a round of applause for our panelists? Give them some cheers. It's evening, they're tired too. Awesome. Over to you, Vivek. Please keep your mics close enough to your mouth so the people at the back can hear you. Thank you. Yes, you're on. Console?
Yeah, it's working.
Yes, it's working.
So it looks like the last panel has already talked a lot about AI. So we don't have much to talk about now. All the questions we had decided is already done. So I think I would like to take, right? So like Ben Evan has said that AI is something that's resetting the world. So there are certain things that reset the world. AI is definitely one of them. And I think the biggest impact of AI, I believe, is going to happen in the field of advertising and marketing. It's not because it's needed in this field, but almost every single player in the world, whether it's Google, whether it's Meta, Alibaba, all the players, the people who are basically leaders in AI are the ones whose majority of the revenues come from advertising and marketing. So it's just because of that the impact is going to happen. I think if you just look at it right now, the infrastructure that is being set up, so the companies that are making money right now and wealth are the infrastructure companies of AI. So whether you take NVIDIA or you take companies like OpenAI, but if you take, right, the infrastructure companies in the early internet days, Cisco and Netscape didn't actually make money. The Meta and Google's made money. So the companies of Meta and Google of AI, the layers of technology that come after that is not happened as yet, right? It's like saying people who generated or created the fridge or refrigeration process, they made X money, but actually Coca-Cola made 100X money. So I think those companies are yet to happen. I think the last thing I would like to say is that I think the way I look at it is that the best chess players in the world are these players, they call it centaurs, with half man, half human, where a team of players which are a combination of AI and humans defeat an individual AI or defeat an individual human. So it's the co-intelligence or the ability to work along with AI. The human that is going to be the other human is the one which actually learns how to use AI more effectively than the other human, right? So I think the way I look at it is that I think the impact in the advertising and marketing field is going to be huge. And I think all of us have a certain take on the topic. So starting with you, MBS, I think would love to have your take on AI as a topic, and then we can get into the panel discussion here.
So good evening, everybody. I thought I'll just land us all on a very important occasion today. Vivek, can you just put this thing up? 82 years. And for me, AI is Amitabh's intelligence and not artificial intelligence. Largely because he's somebody who's reinvented himself so many times, and right now he's in the thick of technology. But the quintessential story behind the man still stays. And I want to just take this thing a little bit more further. Mr. Ratan Tata, who just passed away, look at the amount of empathy, respect, love he had. And I don't think so it was because of technology, but it is because of who he was as a person. So much that we will want to go out and jump into this whole pool of AI. What you mentioned is a very, very important thing, that it is the infrastructure creating companies who are very, very gung-ho, who are very, very bullish about it. But har ishq ka ek waqt hota hai, hamara time abhi aaya nahi hai. So in the sense that they really need to go out and push further, and that's where you have Jensen coming to India and trying to hawk AI on the behalf of NVIDIA, or you have Satya Nadella coming to India and having to talk about AI. So we have not reached a tipping point where AI is going to be used en masse. The second point that I want to mention is that when you start using AI en masse, it is also like creating a cultural change. And in organizations, every organization has got its unique culture. I worry that suddenly we'll all look like minions with the same kind of a culture, and the distinction in personalities will go away. So therefore, when you look at it at a CXO table, or when you look at it from a CEO's table, okay, kuch ho raha hai, I want to know about it, but I don't think so I want to put my money right into that now. बाकी बच्चे अगर कुछ कर रहे हैं तो फिर ठीक है, we'll go out and see what is going to happen. So that's the mood broadly from a banking perspective.
Yeah, I think the way I would look at it is, right, that the similarity between everybody is similar. I think what will happen is, like when you take a photograph today as a photographer, the reason for your patent is the lens that you use, the light that you let out enter, the aperture, etc., the angle. So I think if you combine all those factors, right, that becomes a prompt. So the reason why you and me will be different is that the prompt that you'll give and I'll give will be different, and that's the reason will be the difference between the two of us.
Yes, so there is always the human, and then there is artificial, and that the output is the one which is intelligent, because what you see from your lens is absolutely different than what I would go out and see, and that sensitivity is what is important.
Okay. Kaushal, your views?
Yeah, so we've all been seeing a lot of interesting use cases of AI, right? I mean, last year we've all seen the Shah Rukh Khan commercial that Mondelez did, and many other similar things. But I truly believe that the use case of AI is not in the sexy marketing campaigns, but in the non-sexy work that marketing does. So AI is going to play a huge role in automating a lot of the things. It'll help us in writing copy, scripts, designs, etc., etc., etc. And this is where we'll see a large role for AI. I mean, we use AI to create about 300 banners in a day. I mean, if I had to create 300 banners in a day a few years ago, I'd take a long time and I'd charge the client a bomb for it, right? So I no longer need to do that. So it benefits all of us. So I think the non-sexy part of AI is where we'll see a huge growth.
So, Kaushal, I'll disagree on this. When I'm using AI these days, right, what is happening is that the insights that comes in. So I'll give you an example. Metro Shoes was using a platform, and people who buy Crocs, they are very active people who love sports. But the AI created this creative construct which said, Crocs for your after-sport relaxation, a companion for your sports shoe, accessory for your sports bag. That was a creative construct. So basically it said is, once you're done playing activities or any activity you've done, then it's time for Crocs, right? Now this, in a way, in a human word, we would say the creative insight. Now you can put it into creative, but this was created by the AI. So what's going to happen is that the insight that we talk sometimes comes from the data and the experiences we've had. So the Piyush Pandays of the world and Ogilvy's of the world have had experiences and they're creating this insight. I think it's already AI has reached a place that some of these insights are coming in, because the first time when I saw that, right, I said like, wow, this is amazing insight that people will wear Crocs after they've finished off the activity they're doing. It could be work, it could be office, it could be a sport, it could be a gym, it doesn't matter. You are done with your activity, you're an active person, now it's time for Crocs.
Yeah, so in fact, no disagreement on that at all. So, I mean, AI is going to help with all these insights, right? But the fact is, today, sometimes the sort of insights that AI gives us is absolute junk. Sometimes it's beautiful. And as you both rightly pointed out, it's all about the prompts that go in and the sort of
the same junk comes from humans also. Okay, so over to you, Arpan.
Thanks for having me here. I think I'll absolutely bet on natural intelligence over artificial intelligence, because at the end of the day, AI is processing all the data that has been created till date, right? And this event is called Future of Marketing Excellence. So there's a future attached to this. And if something is analyzing all the previous data, someone else has to create the future, right? So from previous data, you can't create the future. So I would rather leave all the household chores to AI, all the boring work to AI, and rather focus on writing poetry and probably doing something which is more classical in nature and live it for us. So I bet on natural intelligence over artificial intelligence.
There's a very famous saying, right? It's, I expected AI to do the ironing and laundry and let me do painting and like poetry, and right now AI is doing poetry and painting and asking me to do the laundry. So what do you, Kushal?
So I'm just nostalgic of some sort of moments of my career, which sort of I think I didn't want to spell out in this forum, but I'm going to try and sort of I think bring that up here, Vivek, and talk about the fact that I think this big word we talk about. I think about a gentleman we lost yesterday. And one of his group companies has been harnessing the beauty of knowing us as customers in one of their hospitality businesses at the Taj Hotels for donkey's years. without data, without AI, without all these buzzwords. They knew exactly the kind of room Vivek would like, the kind of things to put in the room, the way to address him, how the way to pick his bag, what floor, and what have you as well. And this was being happening for sort of so many years as well. So I think what perhaps this sort of new breed of AI, what I'm calling, or this overkill, overburst, and all that, is just accentuating, for example, that we've already lived in. Companies have already been using AI in its most simple form of humans knowing data and putting it back in some form or the other to give experiential ways of customers feeling delighted. But Wes, the wow will probably come in now when you perhaps are going to be able to marry that same human being, for example, someone at the front office of a hotel who knows Vivek very well, plus something else, and a creative piece of communication comes to you perhaps on some platform of yours, and you sort of feel, wow, suddenly I didn't expect it. And that's that magical wow moment. And that's, I think, the power of sort of putting things sort of together.
But Kushal, if you look at it, right, even the good old Taj, right? So I was talking to somebody who's CMO of Taj. He said that they had done a study where less than about 865 individuals control almost 85% of Taj revenues. And this could be an individual of HR manager of Infosys as an example, right? Who will buy 100,000 room nights. So the thing is that you're talking about data. Now what you can do is that once it goes down that initial curve, right? The rest of it, the person who's 10,000th largest customer of Taj, what personalization he requires, right? And how can it be done at scale? But the way I look at it is that earlier required people like the Piyush Pandays and Ogilvies of the world to come out with these insights, which was out of the world. Now I feel it can enable, with co-intelligence, lesser mortals like us to come out with some interesting insights that can be game changer because we have co-intelligence with help of AI. So again, 2 bits on it, but I think you have a lot of experience of how government is sort of beginning to use AI, and with your experience of working in the Niti Aayog, it would be lovely for you to share how do you think government is using AI right now?
So with due respect to everyone on the panel and everyone in the audience as well, we talk about first party data, second party, something else, what party, something else, through all sorts of platforms, etc. as well. I think credit to, a country like India, where we've sort of, been able to get over more than 1,000 million people to put their most legitimate, accurate, rightful data, and that becomes the source point of your Aadhaar. Yeah, of course, people might say that yes, there was something like a social security or something else in some other countries as well. But I think on the basis of that, or the back of that, a lot of the new initiatives in terms of the NDAP program, which is basically putting out all possible data points of where government touches sort of people's lives, whether it is through platforms like UPI, through ONDC, something else. So let me give you a little example of how we can make this happen in a world of marketing or media advertising as well. So think about it, we're doing some initiatives with FMCG companies, I won't take the name of course, and we're working with quick commerce companies, basis UPI transaction of a certain amount of money, basis certain other data points as well, in real time, hyper-personalization at scale happening, basis intent of earlier transactions done on that platform. So I think the government is only playing a role of validating that. It's also becoming a sort of a platform, and that bigger platform will get launched in April of next year, which is the AI sort of platform as well. But it's more in terms of just saying that, yes, this is right. So we're not in any manner wanting to sort of monetize this, but in some manner helpful to organization wanting to make sure that you're talking to the right people, getting best bang for your buck.
So, about 4-5 years ago, I was in Beijing in China, and there was an AI conference happening, and Dentsu has almost 5,000 people working in China. I was not able to get a delegate pass to the conference. Like, I've had trouble sometimes speaking at a certain conference, but I've never had a trouble getting a delegate pass. But it was so secretive that they didn't allow us in. So I think China is really, really been working on AI with data. I think that's an opportunity which I think India should capitalize.
Absolutely.
I hope people like you will help the government and Niti Aayog in utilizing that to the next level. Yeah. So I think Arpan, you have a lot of experience of using AI, both Gen AI as well as predictive AI. I would love to know how you've used both of them for Geo. Yeah.
Slightly contrary to what I started with. But having said that, I just would like to add, long back, Henry Ford had said, if you ask folks what do they want, they will want a faster horse, right? So AI can never predict a car. But having said that, we have been using AI for the last 1 to 1.5 years, primarily to ease out our lives and the lives of our design and content teams. One, for generative AI, we have been using tools like Runway, Kyber, Midjourney to create images to reach the market faster with campaigns. We have also started using AI for our catalogs to enhance the look and feel of the catalogs. Obviously, at lower cost and much, much faster outputs. For predictive, we primarily rely on our partners like Meta and Google. They have a huge, huge base of data to analyze, to see what competition customers are buying, what they're looking for, what they're browsing through campaigns like Performance Max, Advantage Plus. We leverage those primarily to through lookalike campaigns and otherwise to reach out to the right set of customers for ROAS-based campaigns. Internally, we are also using predictive to guesstimate the LTV of customers, fraud analytics, which customers are more likely to commit fraud, and probably block them or give them a warning in advance so that our return rates are lower. So these are a few other things we have tried out in AI, and a lot of things we have in plan, which will mostly be rolled out in the near future.
You know, last month I was with a friend of mine who had Snap in APAC, and we were discussing the Chinese companies which are export-oriented like Shein. They are now matching the total spends that of these platforms in US. So obviously they are your partners, but just imagine the potential of that, right? They are running campaigns using AI across hundreds of companies, hundreds of countries, and the spends put together is in billions of dollars, is now matching the total spends, advertising spends in US by these export companies in China. And this could have not been done without the AI technology that they have of running this per se.
I just read about it. I think Shein has doubled their the revenues this year. And they are one of the highest spenders in that market. We also happen to use personalization through a tool called AdGreets, where I can reach out to, say, millions of folks with distinct images based on what their search history or what their browsing history or add to cart history is. So that's also something we have tried and we have seen good results.
Awesome. So, Gosal, I think you have a lot of experience of working with brands like Sephora. Would love to, if you can share some experiences of how you use AI effectively for these brands.
Yeah, so I'll actually give you a couple of very interesting examples. While I said that AI has a lot of non-sexy use cases, it also has some very, very interesting use cases, right? So the first brand I want to talk about is the Sephora oil. So towards the end of September, every year there's a World Heart Day. So Sephora does an activity for World Heart Day. So what we did this year, Ronit Roy was the brand ambassador. So we created an AI version of Ronit Roy, and we had people have a real conversation with him. So we said, let's measure your heart health. So people had to take out the phone, and then they were talking to Ronit Roy and climbing up steps. And Ronit would ask you questions and you had to answer. He would ask questions like how long, what do you do for your health? What do you eat? How many times in a day do you exercise? And basis whatever you say, he'll actually have a real conversation with you. And then basis how well you're able to answer your breathing patterns, whether you're huffing and puffing, he'll give a prediction of how healthy your heart is. Now, I thought, let me try and game the system. So as I was climbing the steps, Ronit asked me, how much do you exercise or how many times do you exercise? So I said, यार मुझे exercise पसंद नहीं है, मैं सोने में बड़ा busy रहता हूँ. So Ronit actually replied, सोना अच्छी बात है, लेकिन exercise करके तो देखो बेहतर नींद आएगा. And this was not fed by us into the AI. This actually came out, right? And this is a real use case. Another example, we handle a brand called Rise. This is an anti-nicotine chewing gum. Now, if you are into smoking, chewing tobacco, etc., 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 you know that you need a lot of help in getting past this habit, right? So a few years ago, for another brand, we had created a chatbot where you could interact with the chatbot, and whenever you would say that I want to do, I I feel like smoking, it will say, here are 4 options, choose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you choose that option, basis that it will give you some answer, and this is all pre-fed. Now for Rise, we created this chatbot again using AI. So now whenever I feel like smoking, all I need to do is, I say that, yeah, I really feel like smoking, what do I do? He'll give me suggestions, why don't you talk to some friends? I say that, I don't have any friends. So then it'll have a further conversation with me. And then I can actually chat with it. I mean, of course, some people have started asking the chatbot, ki kya tum mere dost banoge? And that goes into a different territory. But yeah, I mean, these are real use cases. You could not do this a few years ago. And there are so many more that we keep working on.
So actually, what you mentioned about Vola, like I'll give you one interesting story. So we work with a brand called Dexcom, which makes CGM devices. So basically, it's by type 1 diabetics, and they target them and they use it, right? So what happened was the AI came up with this interest called human nails, Nakhun, which was giving them hundreds of conversions. So we asked the agency, they didn't have a clue. We asked the client. The client says that's very interesting. The first sign of juvenile or type 1 diabetics is actually yellow or jaundiced nails. So they were getting 300 conversions. So in India, you sneeze, you get 300 conversions. I said, big deal. They said, we don't understand. A type 1 diabetic, when they sign up for Dexcom, they stay with us for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Lifetime value is infinite. So now we have other diseases which have early symptoms. So imagine that AI is able to find this one single interest called human nails. I don't think any meta planner would have come up with this idea of targeting human nails for Dexcom as a category, right? So I think, right now, one of the discussion we had was that is originality being sacrificed for this purpose of efficiencies, right? What are your views on it, and what do you think?
So I'll tell you, I think that it is being sacrificed because every time, at least मेरे साथ तो पिछले 2 साल में ये हुआ है कि when people have wished me for a birthday, I've got the same message from everybody. I'm sure they're all going on to ChatGPT and saying, give me a good birthday wish for a CMO. So getting sacrificed. Every image suddenly you looks exactly same. Like my son keeps telling me to shave off my beard because he says, Papa, everybody's got a beard. No offense to you, but he says everybody looks so same. Everybody's got a beard. So when you look at the images which are coming out, the kind of content which is coming out, उसमें efficiency है, but it is so cold and plastic. It's like being in Star Trek and having Spock. You ask Spock anything, he'll keep rattling out stuff. But you need somebody like a Captain Kirk to balance it out, to say, he's running a very large spaceship, gender diversity issues होती हैं, लोग अलग-अलग nationality से आते हैं, planets. So all of those parts are there. But increasingly, as we keep using AI, you will find that it seems to be similar, particularly when it goes into use cases of, say, making a newsletter, which is what classic marketing we are talking about. Having said so, and I'm just extending this question a little bit more, as a marketeer, I am at a vantage point because I am a curious cat by nature. Nobody in the organization is as curious as a marketeer. So still, I will go out into the field, find out what's happening in somebody's life. Abhi Durga Puja chal rahe hain. What is the mithai which is getting picked up from Sweet Bengal? What are the bongs wearing this time? So it's all insight. I come back to it and then I tell my AI engine, you know what? I want to create a mithai which has got a balance of no sugar, jaggery, whatever you're talking about rest. And then it'll give me a dish out. Which is where I'm heightening the user experience. I'm not making something which is already available in the marketplace, and I'm still using my muscle, which is the curious cat that I am as a marketeer, and therefore creating a very different experience. So to expect that I will plug in coordinates and it will be a fly-by-air kind of a flight, I think is going to be a fallacy for the marketeer, and he will definitely have a fall. However, constantly he needs to be looking at the situation, and there is absolutely no replacement to being out in the market. Just to one line of intelligence. Very recent interview of Gulzar, he was asked कि आप अभी भी पढ़ते हो क्या? And Gulzar साहब says कि पैसे कमाने के लिए शब्द ढूंढने पड़ेंगे, शब्द ढूंढने के लिए पढ़ना पड़ेगा. So if you want to get insights as a marketer, मुझे बाहर जाना पड़ेगा. I can't rely on AI all the while. So,
just adding to what MBS was saying, I also read something. I was reading something or probably watching something by Javed Akhtar. I don't know if you guys have seen it. He very clearly said it's not about words, it's about the thoughts. Right? AI is like words, the words you know. It's like building a house with bricks. A ghar bricks se nahi banta. You have to have that apnapan, which is all about natural intelligence.
Lekin EAT can change into laterite because it is lightweight. It can be designed by AI. So those are all the kind of things which are coming. And since I've sort of come in this conversation again, can I add a point? Okay. The other part which is happening is, I think the largest push for AI and technology is coming from the government. If you just step back and think, this entire CBDC, there's a Central Board of Digital Currency, is going to completely change the way we are going to be functioning. In the sense that if I don't have cash, if I have an e-com platform, if I can smile and pay, where is the need? It's going to change the entire piece. And therefore, it's going to put pressure on not only a bank, but also FMCG marketeer, also a retail company, also a hospitality company to change the user experience. So thankfully for us, we have a very, very progressive, intelligent, forward-thinking, bureaucracy/government. And that is why you're having a whole beeline making. We were talking of being a 5 trillion economy by 2027. JP Morgan was on record saying that we'll become a 7 trillion economy by 2030. It might happen faster. So that's where the entire part is, is changing for us. And yeah, there are a lot of other things which work for a marketeer, which help you sort of lift the collective consciousness or intelligence of an industry or of its people.
Yeah, I think I fully agree. I think the way I look at it is right that when you say about birthday wishes and things like that, I still remember the first time I got a calendar where my name was on every single month, and the cloud said Vivek, and this said Vivek, and that I was very impressed. And after that, 150 companies send me the same calendar, and then they start going in the dustbin, right? So I think what we'll do is the AI is going to do something, but after that, it's like the first time when somebody invented photography, you could replicate reality, and then you had to actually shift painters to not replicating reality, right? The same way, I think the way we'll have to use AI is that can we now come out with innovative ways of using AI like how we would use a camera. So when somebody cooks a nice dish, you never go and say, hey, listen, you must be having a great oven. You talk about his skill set of making it. So in the same way, everybody's going to have the same oven. Everybody's going to have the same tools available to us, AI being one of them. Our ability to use that tool to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the people who, in a way, the humans who are competing with us, is going to be the key to success. So I hope all of us got some value from this. I would love to thank my panelists for this wonderful session.
Thank you as much.
And please may have a round of applause for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, panelists. Please stay back for a token of appreciation. Can I please call on stage Lalatendu Das, better known as LD, Chief Executive Officer, Performix India Publicis Group Company. On stage, please. LD, do we have you with us? Awesome. And can I also call Harshad Wadivkar, Director Sales India, Ad Scholars, to give away the awards, please. To give away the hamper. Sorry. Awards are coming near, so I'm... Can we have the hampers, promoters? Okay. LD? Yeah. Hamper, come here. All right. Thank you. Can we have a good group picture, please?